G'day and welcome to the Making It With Myles podcast. We talk about all things related to building and construction as well as the real estate industry through the lens of a building inspector. This episode we'll be discussing the tips before the rain hits, because the rain is coming and it's going to be an absolute disaster if you don't do all these appropriate things for your bloody house. Now, if any of this is any value to you, please give it a like, subscribe and share it to the ones in need. If you have any questions that you want answered, feel free to put them in the Spotify Q&A section. I can get to them accordingly. And we do two formats to the podcast. So we've got the shed, which we talk about more or less building related things, and we've got the journey as well. The journey is more or less just sort of personal development things, talking about my story, my processes, the things that I'm sort of learning at the moment. Try to help some other people get better as well. If we all get better, society gets better. That's what we bloody need, because at the moment it feels like it's turned to shit. So on this episode, we're going to be talking about tips before the rain hits. So this is very, very critical. The reason being is because water, rain, inundation of floods absolutely destroys homes. So if you want to set yourself up for success and look after your property, okay, look after it and it'll look after you. These are some things that we suggest. So first things first are gutters and downpipes. Right. Very, very common thing I come across on probably 90% of homes is gutters full of debris, full of shit. Maybe they're pooling, maybe they're running wrong direction, maybe they've got rust and leaks, joins have got leaks. This is very critical to tidy up, okay? So what can happen is if you've got blockages and stuff like that due to all the debris and the guttering itself, it just can backflow into the house, it can overflow onto the side of the property, can cause footing movement, flood the inside of the house, and the last thing you want on a pissing rainy day is floods in your home, okay? It's the worst possible thing you can think of. Trust me, it's not a good time. As well as that, you want to ensure the water is actually being directed away from the foundations themselves. So if you do have any debris, clean the gutters out, get a roof plumber out to assess all your stormy points. I'm talking downpipes, gutterings, make sure everything's not leaking. It's just capturing the water, discharging it down the stormwater. Happy days. All right. Next step is your roof checks. Roof checks, obviously we're looking for signs of damages. Now, if you have a tiled roof, I can guarantee there's a chip on one of those tiles, because it's just something that comes up in every house I look at. But you could have some horizontal cracks that go halfway up, which water's going to definitely piss down into the roof itself. You could have rusty sheets, you could have holes in your roof sheets, lifted flashings, whatever it may be. Okay, so I would highly recommend you get whatever the appropriate trade is, tiled or a Corrie roof, whatever it might be. I would just get a contractor out to look over it, review it, make sure it's all looking good from their end. Just so you're aware, there's a lot of temporary fixes done to many houses. When I'm talking is just bulk silicon to bulk areas. So I would just get a qualified trade to come out, really have a good look over it, make sure from their perspective they're happy with it. If they're happy with it, then you should be all good moving forward. The next one we've got is external drainage. What does that mean? That means all the external water around the property getting underneath your house, sitting against your footings, sitting against your retaining walls, sitting against the bloody backside of your garage, sitting against your house, pulling against there, reacting with the soil. It's a pain in the ass, especially here in Victoria. I'm finding it bloody every single day. It's just getting worse and worse. But you just want to make sure all the water runoff is adequate. So what we mean by that, if you're on a hill, for example, or wherever you may be, maybe you're in the bottom of a bloody valley or somewhat. When the water lands and hits, it's going to head towards in some direction, all right? I'm sure you can figure it out. Gravity will help you determine which direction it's going to go in. What you need to be mindful about is you don't want this surface water running underneath the property. You'd ideally want it to run in and around. So you can have Aggie drain systems in place. You might have a spoon drain to help direct the water around. The main focus is to ensure the water runoff is not going underneath the property or up against the property. It's not impacting the home itself. Okay, you really want to discharge it around it. Obviously, stormwater runoff. So yeah, make sure it's not pulling against the house. As well as that, consider undertaking an in-ground plumbing inspection. So this is something I've been recommending a lot, just within the inspection game itself. And people are not really aware of it, and I talk about it so much, and just the importance is ridiculous. But just get someone to come out that's a registered plumber. They've got the drainage equipment. They can clean blockages. They can run their camera through all the in-grounds, okay? You want to make sure that all the water that's being captured now by your beautiful, sexy roof and your clean gutters and your downpipes that don't leak, wherever it's going, this is probably the most critical part, that it is cleared out. It is capturing all the water. It's discharging it to the point of discharge, wherever that may be. It's not going to be under the house. That's the most important thing. And you're just putting these steps in place, just doing the due diligence, okay? If there are any blockages, all right, and then all of a sudden you get 100 mil of rain, well, that's just going to be a significant impact on the home, okay? And you don't want to be the person calling these poor plumbers in the middle of the night to come out to your house, undo blocked drains or sewers or something, whatever the case may be, because it'll cost you an arm and absolute leg. So just be a bit proactive and check all these in-ground services, stormwaters. You might even have aggie, silt pits, whatever it is. Just get everything cleaned out, cleared out. You want that drainage plumber to look at your house and be going, mate, could be bloody metre of water. We're sweet here, all right? So put some effort into that. Worth it every day of the week. Next one, okay, we're talking about windows and doors. So checking for gaps around doors and windows. Again, this is something that's very common that happens. You might have a brick veneer house and you have some windows and things shrink and move and you get these gaps next to it, or seals deteriorate. Now, with wind-driven rain and excessive amounts of water, you can get water past these little areas into the wall cavity. Now, it's probably not going to be so significant it's going to cause water damage, but it can. Okay, so the best thing to do is you want to really seal all this up, okay? And it's not just going to help for water getting in, but it's also going to help for sort of the air itself, the air movement, okay? You want to seal the home up as best as practicable because that's going to help your insulation qualities, all right? So do an audit. Just walk around your house. You don't have to be an expert to know what a gap looks like. And if you see gaps, just make sure you get them sealed up, okay? If the gaps are too big, you might need a contractor or someone that has a bit more of a skill set to come in and maybe run some cover plates or something around them, put some expander foam in there, like just really seal up that space. It's going to mitigate obviously water getting in and then also help with those thermal qualities. Outside of that is the windows and doors themselves. So if you've got like really old windows, sometimes that can be harder to sort of get a good seal on them. Just check the seals are all working. Sometimes you'll see the glazing bead where the glass sits in is just destroyed and fallen apart. Maybe you need a glazier to come out and just sort of reseal them up. Again, that comes down to helping with those sort of thermal qualities, okay? We can't all go out and afford triple glazed UPVC fucking European windows and just reinstall them into our house and have these 10-star homes. In some circumstances, we're stuck with a single pane window and we just need to do the best we can with what we've got. So these things do make a massive difference with regards to sort of thermal qualities. Even just to add with that, if you have even if you do have like these types of windows, like heavy drapes and blinds, and creating that like an air gap between the glass itself and inside the house, and also externally, like with external blinds, can make a big difference with those sort of thermal qualities to keep the heat in. Look into it. It's something worth looking into. Just look into it. Next one is just your heating systems themselves, all right? So just like when summer comes around, you don't want this guys servicing your splitty or fixing your splitty in the middle of summer. Just sort of preempt these things, okay? So get the appropriate trades out, your mechanical plumber, whatever sort of mechanical equipment you got. You might have a gas heater or might have some splitties. I don't know, you might have hydronic floor heating, whatever the case may be. I would just recommend you get these people out prior to winter coming in to make sure everything's all good, clean, cleared, the filters are all cleared out, chimneys and flues are all cleared out. Everything is, you've got no potential risk of fire hazards. Now, all these things are very important. You just put some effort into it, maintain the house, and then when the time comes, you'll be sweet. Another couple of good ones to consider as well is with regards to your external timber work and paint work. So external weatherboards themselves, love them, look beautiful. All right, they're a pain in the ass because you've got to maintain these pricks, all right? Especially before winter comes around, because it's going to be, to do that process again, you might skip this winter, and when the good times come is when you should be maintaining all these types of things, because the rain, the dampness, it's moist in the air, it destroys the timbers over a period of time, it decays it, bubbles the paint off. Put the effort in to really maintain these things. If you actually put the effort in now and you don't leave it for too long, you can save yourself on a lot of costs and issues moving forward. If you leave it for too long, the timber work's going to rot away. You'll have much bigger holes, bigger gaps to fill. You'll have to replace timber lengths themselves. Maybe there's structural beams that haven't been maintained appropriately. Now you're ripping structural elements apart and rebuilding it. Just put the effort in, strip things back, seal it, paint it. And these things can be done by the novice individual. Okay, now unless you're super particular and you need to get things absolutely schmicko looking sexy, that's fair enough. You might pay someone, but you can do these things, or even do a couple of coats to seal it up, just so it's protected as it should be, and then get another trade in to sort of finish it off. But either way, doing those little patch ups, maybe some timber window frames, just patching it all up, keeping it sealed up, protected from that water is it's definitely worth the effort. Last one is insulation. So inspect your insulation in the roof space. Now, what does happen often is when I get into these roof cavities, I can see that someone's done some work. They might have changed some downpipes, thrown all the insulation around the house, done all their work, done the Harold Holt, charged the client, happy days, they're done. But they've left all their shit everywhere. So spend some time, get up into the roof cavity itself, make sure all the insulation is sort of pushed back where it's got to be. Be mindful depending on your lights. You can't just throw insulation over the specific lights, so look into that. But just sort of stay on top of those types of things. Really sealing up the home and helping it be airtight as possible, think of it like that, is going to be the best benefit for you with regards to keeping the house warm. So then, you're going to get your house, the outside structure itself is being looked after because you're discharging all the water to where it's got to go. Then you start to work, then with regards to those external elements, then you're sort of sealing the gaps up, and that's trying to keep the house warm. With the heating itself, you're updating and maintaining that so it doesn't break on you in the middle of the winter. Again, with regards to the external timber work and paint work, you're protecting the home, making sure it doesn't decay and allow water into those spaces. And then with regards to the insulation, again, you're trying to look more in the space of keeping it warm. All right, and it's important. And maybe you get into your roof cavity and you find you've got this old loose fill insulation. It's compressed down to about a 10 mil piece of board, and it's doing nothing. It's doing absolutely nothing. So maybe this is the year you actually go, all right, we're going to get all this vacuumed out, cleaned out, and we're going to get some R6 bats in here, which are going to be these big 240 fatties, and the change will be significant. And if you're working, if you've got a subfloor system itself, that's like if you can do the dirty double, do the roof as well as the subfloor insulation, you'll have a bloody whole new home, okay? And if you're getting under there as well and you expand the foaming and sealing up gaps and all these types of things in and around sort of the internal building elements, so you've got the frame itself and then you've got your plasterboard, so sort of that barrier. If you're sealing those gaps up, you will be kicking ass. Trust me, it makes all the difference. Speaking to these passive home people, just the smallest of gaps can fail the whole air pressure test. It's ridiculous. So that was my tips before the rain hits. Make sure you keep on top of all these things. Look after your house, okay? It'll look after you. I just get sick of going and seeing so many properties where people have let things go too long, and it has genuinely impacted their property, and it costs a lot of money to fix. And there's mold and health implications. It's a whole mess. So just look after it, and it'll look after you. Outside of that, have yourself a lovely afternoon, evening, morning, whatever you're bloody well doing, and I'll see you on the next one. Hooroo.